First thing I want to do is show you the evidence that a nerve agent was used on me. Take a look at my face. Okay. The men who did this to me were talking about a scheme to transform the human race by injecting the blood before AIDS started. And then they used me as an AIDS testing guinea pig on Mount Desert Island through immoral, disreputable, cruel, nightmarish, and utterly illegal methods of entrapment that they thought was just as funny as can be. If you care about our community, it is best not to grow tired too quickly of hearing the name Donald Trump, or to yield too readily to jokes in the matter. His election, however, should bring calm, not alarm. It is too defining to avert your eyes and walk away. People did not vote Trump to make America great. They voted Trump because they are tired of America. This election should bring an end to feelings of futility, for the simple reason that we are faced, once and for all, with how we have been betrayed. The emotion this brings is calm. I wish that I could have spoken to you sooner, but they took measures. Not only did sorcerers deafen me as a neuro guard against the sort of change my father's illustrious position at the University of Pittsburgh afforded to me in terms of potential as a humanist if I had become a musician. I was a pretty little boy. My talent was brutally attacked and besmirched. I was hit from behind. It was like being shot. I was just a child. And for a long time, they've cut off my tongue in this age of broadcasting. I have no rights at all that they feel the need to regard. There is a reason why I'm me, and a message in how they did it. Not for nothing was my father, who was the son of an Oregon lumberjack, chosen by the U.S. Navy in World War II to be the radio room broadcast lieutenant during the greatest naval campaign in human history. By contrast, I cannot even hear my own voice. Unlike what Martha Gellhorn called an actor's chocolate of Ronald Reagan's voice in a private letter to me, my father's voice carried the eternal frame of liberty and justice for all. Unlike the imposter Reagan, my family were pilgrims, pioneers, revolutionary soldiers, fighting in the French and Indian 1812. My mother may seem like a poor farm girl, but her uncle was mustard gassed in the trenches of France. I was used as a slave. I was tortured by a secret illegal cult, an object of their insane crime in the AIDS attack. My voice still has passing remnants of purposefully disabled leadership. Think then of what I suffer here. Remember me in your prayers, and let this be my soapbox. For I am far prouder than Reagan ever was to be a child of Captain Kangaroo. Poor old deaf Crary will speak to you of what is at risk. You will have this recording to refer to in the coming days of SAMISTAT, which means endangered free speech. Only you can save it from 1,001 methods of disparagement. I am thankful for this day. The new administration is coming with a firm hand. There is no pretense that the underdog will be defended. Women will have no place to run. The gleam of the predator is in the eyes of the street rowdies. The Republican Party has come a-crawling to his doorstep. All of his crimes have gone well. The quisling Mitt Romney, after many a whelp, has whimpered to his side, and this is what they expect from you. I am not a man of hard words. This is their due. The Trump cult offended me with their public locker room jazz. I blushed for the memory of my grandmother, at whose summer sod I was careful never to say, though heavily brainwashed, what I had learned of gutter speech as a child in the city of Pittsburgh. I blushed for a fine woman of Topeka from the Ozarks, who had been voted a distinguished citizen of Poplar Bluff, Missouri, and my glare of hatred at their hypocrisy softened at the memory when I reflected that they were capable of being kindly fools. I will explain what I'm going to do, and it is a tall order. AIDS Nuremberg. The best of you will be with me in spirit. There is no need to cry out your support, send me money, or send me letters. By hearing this, I am already assured that your friendship and compassion is mine. Love is no political man's right to ask. Save love for your family, but reserve knowledge for your commonwealth. Trump's power structure regards our most basic freedoms as a prisoner's dilemma. Since he enjoys oppression, he has created a forcing house, but he is a wry and generous man who also endures hearing why he shouldn't oppress. He debated the whole country at length. It's his German hat saying, "Talk me out of it before I hurt you." Little Jimmy Crary, the child I once was given a name to humiliate on the streets of Pittsburgh. It was a straw man, a flesh and blood effigy, James McRyland Crary, substituting for Sir Paul McCartney, to burn alive as an effigy in a settlement in his stead. Now, poor old Matt Crary knows what they did. My instructors, unwanted and parochial, taught me the meaning of the letter E for failure. It stands over the doorstep, as they pointed out, of a local funeral home. They made clear that my father was moved to Bethany, where he met his end after a bat in his bed under the crypter. Bethany. Better dead than you. The Green Party then publicly put him on trial as a red witch, notoriously on record at the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. Britain has sought to confuse the hooting at what they construe Simplicissimus, the man humiliated beyond any endurance, with Nellie Bly, the undercover investigator who put himself at risk to find out what was going on. While plying the burn hand teaches, they called it an ordeal by fire, this Mount Desert Island AIDS war game. Bush is very intellectual. He played and planned this game. I cannot bear to tell you what all they did. But to wrongfully inflict that measure of cruelty with the sadism of the Japanese at work on the innocent, crawling from child mutilation. In the name of collateral damage conceived by a sadistic group of imposters from Carnegie Mellon University who went to the front as posers to trick the AIDS community into inciting them on me by blaming me for the death of Lenin, which may have been fake news, to cause a burning at the stake of human rights endorsed by veteran black culture. When my father, who was chair of philosophy of education at Pitt, saw the photos of the My Lai massacre, as I did on the grass of Flagstaff Hill as a little boy at the Mother's Day Rally for Peace in the first years of Richard Nixon, which changed me. He was not just crushed and infuriated, he was in trauma. It was in trauma that he called them baby killers. Trauma is not guilt. He had been deeply affected and had this in common with the wounded warriors. Yet he was blamed when a vet killed himself. Who was really to blame? Really to blame were the enemy within. They went on to construe me, while neurodamaged and hostage, as a baby killer myself because of an abortion, when they held me in slavery as a child for adult women of brutal pedophiles engaged in child trafficking, sadistically with the help of some of the old police. This happened on Black Street in East Liberty. Really to blame was General Westmoreland, whose name was chosen because of its affinity, Westmoreland, to Lebensraum, which was Hitler's army's greedy concept for living room. This is not coincidence. Many names and signifiers they've used for a network of meaning. Only if you are fooled about what they are doing will you be fooled by the laughter of the British. And they represent themselves as our best friends. The wall against Mexico is being brought by the same corporation that decided not to publish tentative songs protesting fascism in El Salvador in the 1980s. It's not that they were squeamish. They had other more important things on their mind, like lying about this. The wall is to keep liberty out, and they mean it. Look deeply and urgently at where I was gassed while in control of a Holocaust survivor, King's Estate. The Germans called the ramp to Zion by the name of the road to the heavenly estate. One of the tormentors was an androgen who owns Sounds True. And now we have Is. It's all gear-headed to get you punch drunk on rock stars in their sadistic stupidities, while they secretly milk my brains for the trauma of poetry. These dacoits are answerable. I love my city.